If you're running a business and constantly exhausted, you might think you simply need to work harder. But that exhaustion is a symptom of a flawed operational design. By failing to distribute responsibility, you have created a bottleneck that artificially caps your company's growth potential. We fall into this trap because of biology. When founders check off simple administrative tasks, their brains get a quick hit of dopamine. We trick ourselves into believing that clearing out an inbox is the same thing as high-value productivity. We call this the hub and spoke model. The founder acts as the central node, and every single communication, decision, and handoff has to bottleneck through them before anything gets done. It is a brutal irony. The exact hands-on operational style that successfully launched the business becomes the fatal constraint that actively kills its ability to grow. Eventually, usually around the $500,000 to $750,000 revenue mark, a company hits the solopreneur ceiling. At this stage, the sheer daily volume of micro-decisions and administrative firefighting permanently exceeds what one human brain can physically process. When that happens, organizational momentum stops. Your growth isn't flatlining because the market lacks demand for your product. It's flatlining because the business has completely exhausted your executive bandwidth. This creates a nasty linear trap. In a founder-dependent model, the only mathematical way to double your revenue is to double your physical output. Since there are only 24 hours in a day, working harder is no longer a mathematically viable strategy. Escaping guaranteed burnout requires a permanent structural shift to decouple your revenue generation from your personal time. Let's look at this through a forensic financial lens. Every hour you spend hoarding administrative work is an hour stolen from strategic growth. To see the drain, you have to compare your high-leverage strategic hourly rate against the actual market rate of the tasks you refuse to hand off. This diagram illustrates what happens when an executive whose strategic value is $200 an hour chooses to burn 15 hours a week, executing $15 an hour entry-level work. Those 15 hours spent doing data entry represent $3,000 of lost potential revenue every single week. Over 12 months, that scales into a massive annual deficit of $144,000. The cash bleed causes severe downstream operational damage. While you're busy formatting spreadsheets, your decision-making velocity collapses. And because your staff isn't allowed to manage their own workflows, employee initiative is entirely stunted. Refusing to delegate is a calculated financial error that quietly hemorrhages hundreds of thousands of dollars in unrealized growth every single year. But daily revenue loss is only half the problem. This level of operational dependency severely degrades your company's long-term enterprise valuation in the eyes of potential acquirers. Investors call this key person risk. If your entire business relies on you to sell, deliver, and manage the product, a buyer views you as a severe liability, not an asset. They measure this using the 2-week vacation test. If the founder cannot disconnect completely for 14 days without the company suffering, the business fails the test. Failing that test of autonomy instantly discounts the overall market valuation of your business by up to 30%. Acquirers will pay a premium for the alternative, the Switzerland structure. This is an enterprise that functions autonomously, without relying on the willpower of a single technician. Micromanagement throttles daily cash flow and erodes the generational wealth built into the company's ultimate market value. When we analyze the fastest-growing private companies in the United States, the data confirms that structural delegation is the primary driver of competitive outperformance. This chart plots out 3-year growth trajectories based on leadership style. CEOs who master delegation grow 112 percentage points faster than leaders who micromanage their operations. That performance gap creates a massive absolute revenue delta. Delegators average $8 million in annual revenue, compared to $6 million for non-delegators, generating millions in extra cash simply by distributing operational control to capable subordinates. These leaders achieve this outperformance because they aggressively protect their own time. They utilize trained people to capture opportunities and close deals before they go cold. True scaling requires cognitive whitespace. Delegation is the mechanism used to purchase that space, making it a data-driven mandate for business survival. If you are ready to reclaim your time, Global Advantage Employment provides the immediate structural solution. They build dedicated, bilingual support teams, specifically for bottlenecked executives. Your dedicated support team is trained to execute the critical back-office work that's stalling your growth, handling your follow-up, admin, appointment setting, and daily execution.